What's up everyone, Tim Anderson here, aka Renfail. Welcome back to the channel if you are a returning visitor, and if you are new here, strap in. We're going to be diving into the Neverwinter MMO, a Dungeons and Dragons game. Now, I previously did a first impressions video here a little while back in early March of 2023, and my initial first impressions of this game, playing it for the first time on the Xbox, on the console in 2023, I was not exactly impressed because of a lot of the gameplay elements that they weren't things that jumped right out at me. And initially, the intro quest that they have I found to be extremely bland and boring. But I've said all that to say this. I was convinced to give this game more of a chance after I talked to Liam from Liam's Lyceum and some other people who had left some comments on my YouTube videos saying that this was a really good game, that they really liked it, they put a lot of time into it, they played it a lot back in the day, they played it off and on since then, and that I should, actually sink my teeth into it a little bit more. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my ranger and I'm actually going to play him for 20, 30 hours and see what I think of the game after I've had some time to actually sink my teeth into things. So here I am, having gotten to this next location here in the game, and I gotta remember where I'm at actually. Where are we at here? Local map. We are in an area called Vellosk, and we are at this Forsworn camp here, and we've got some quests that we're working on and so on and so forth. I don't think we've actually taken all the quests yet, so there's this guy right here. Press.
Have you come to help us regain our honor?
So this is what I want to talk about here, because this video is going to be more about me giving the game more of a shot and kind of answering the question, is it worth it? And I think at the end of the day, if you're someone who appreciates really good story, and you are going to be someone who appreciates kind of the deep dive into the lore of the Forgotten Realms, okay, then you'll be able to look past some of the other things that might not necessarily make this a game that you would otherwise play. I'll be honest, straight up. If I hadn't listened to other people telling me to dig deeper into this game, I wouldn't have given it a second shot after that first impressions video, because the tutorial was so atrocious to me, and the graphics are not the worst, but the straight up like doing thousands of points of damage in a tutorial, I didn't feel like it was Dungeons and Dragons. And so it was like, it feels to me like an action RPG that they have set within the Dungeons & Dragons world, and that's it. And it kind of took me out of it for a little bit. But once I got past that, and I actually started getting into the quest lines, and you start going to locations that you know from Neverwinter and the surrounding areas, and you get all the lore about the gods and the dragons and the liches and all these events that are happening, which coincide with books from R.A. Salvatore and from campaign modules that they've published in the tabletop world. They've done these seasons and things. There's a lot of storytelling that goes on here, and I think if you treat this game like a story game, if you just log into it and treat it like a novel that has graphics, I think this is actually a really good game. And I kind of want to showcase some of this because it's got really good dialogue. The voice acting is, hit and miss, but you do get lots and lots and lots of dialogue, and that's something I appreciate as a writer and a reader.
Our shaman has spoken of your coming. If you can help us, perhaps the cause of the Forsworn is not lost. Our brothers of the Grey Wolf tribe call us Forsworn because we turned on the Netherese who use us to fight their battle with the Thayans. Now, we fight to break the Netherese hold on the rest of our tribe.
So
aid us in our struggle, and you will be rewarded.
There we go. So, Brothers of the Grey Wolf tribe, called Forsworn, turn to the Netherese, the Thayans. So we're going to take this quest, accepting that, and now he's got 3 additional quests to offer me. So this is obviously the first quest hub of this area, and we're going to get these quests that take us through the zone.
My people have fallen on hard times from the strife in this land. Some are too proud to ask for aid, but I trust you can ease our suffering. Speak with our tribe's wolf trainer, and see what you can do for her.
Okay, I can help out with that. What about the Dark
The
Hunter?
Grey Wolf who follow the Netherese have begun to worship aspects of their dark gods in the guise of Uthgar. The Dark Hunter is nothing more than an aspect of Shah the Night Mistress, who hunts in shadows and kills without mercy. Worship of the Dark Hunter is an affront to Uthgar the Battlefather. Travel the road west and north of the Forsworn camp. At the end of Hunter's Path, you will find the Cursed Grove. Destroy any shadow totems you find there.
We could do that as well. What about this one?
When the Grey Wolf tribe catch our Forsworn brethren, no mercy is shown. The victims are bound to sacrificial stones and tortured to death. The screams of the dying serve as a warning to others who would oppose the Netherese. One of our hunting parties was recently killed in this manner. They must not be forgotten. At the stones of sacrifice west of Forsworn camp, you will find the corpses of our fallen people. Retrieve the ancestor necklaces from the corpses of the brothers Ragnar, Belrak, and Davian. Return them to the cairn of the honored dead on the south side of the Forsworn camp.
So, we have now picked up a series of quests, and if you've ever played an MMORPG before, that's going to be a familiar rotation. So this is going to be one of the areas where the game's not breaking any boundaries. It's not breaking into any new territory. This is an older MMO that's been out for quite a while now, and it is fairly established in its tropes. So you've got these mini quest hubs. Each quest hub will have one or two NPC givers who offer you a series of quests. But the thing I like about them is that even though they might be slightly fetchy, they do tend to have a central theme for the story of this particular area, and then you'll progress through these areas and get to the next one, and you'll have essentially we will have a quest line that's going to take us all the way through this zone, and eventually we'll clear the whole thing, and then we'll get into the next zone, which was actually something that let me see if I can. I'm not intimately familiar with the controls here. Next pane. I don't know how to get to the world map from here. But one of the things I saw the other day, let's actually, where is, should be is there a gate right around here? I'm not intimately familiar with this zone, but I think if we head back here to the gate real quick. Yeah, I just got here. This is what I wanted to show you, because this is when I get back to, so this is just the Sword Coast. So I've only unlocked Protector's Enclave, which was where you start off after the tutorial. Then I did the Never Death Graveyard area, and now I'm in Vellosk, right? So just within the Sword Coast area, you've got all of these different zones that you can unlock, and you have to unlock them. You have to do the quest lines in order to get the power points, item levels or whatever, to get your gear up to be able to go to the next one. But it doesn't just have stuff here in Sword Coast. There's also Icewind Dale has multiple locations. The Underdark. You've got the Chilton Shores. You've got the Undermountain. You've got Avernus. But obviously, you know, everything that starts off in the minute starts off here in Protector's Enclave and Sword Coast. You can actually switch this over to levels if you want to look at it that way. So there's lots of places to go, and that was something that I didn't realize when you first start the tutorial, because again, the tutorial for this game is not very good. And I'm really glad I had people around me that convinced me to go ahead and give this a little more of a shot, which is why I'm making this video, because I think that those of you out there who might be like me might immediately log into the tutorial and go, well, the graphics aren't that great, and I don't like the combat because it's action combat. No, this isn't really Dungeons & Dragons. It's not tabletop Dungeons & Dragons, but it is Dungeons & Dragons in terms of lore and story. Visually, it could look like any, you know, sort of older MMORPG. It's not going to break any, it's not going to earn any awards for that. But I think just for running around and having fun, especially considering the fact that this game's free.
Yes, I'm injured. I can't hunt, and my poor wolves are hungry. I would let them go out and hunt by themselves, but I fear for their safety. You want to help? Well, if you find yourself fighting werewolves, they're often carrying food, usually fresh meat. If you can find enough fresh meat to feed my wolves, I'll reward you however I can.
I will absolutely help. So, I mean, you get a mount fairly early on. You get a companion right here. You can buy one. You can also get one for like linking your account. So I'm playing this in the Xbox. I linked this to I think it's called the Arc account or something, whatever they use with what it used to be Cryptic, it's now Gearbox, I think. They also do the Star Trek Online, which I've been playing a lot of recently, which is one of the reasons I decided to give this a shot, because I love Dungeons & Dragons, but also because I was like, hey, I mean, this is available, I might as well try it on the Xbox and see what it's like. But you can also group up with other peoples if you want. I haven't needed to. I guess there's instances in this game as well. So there's a ton of stuff you can do, and the game's been out long enough now that literally you've got years and years. I think it's more than a decade it's been out. So you have a lot of content that you can sink your teeth into. And just locations, I think, is the big thing. So for me, it's kind of like, Rings of Power wasn't the best Tolkien/Middle-earth thing I've ever seen, but one of the things I at least could appreciate about it was the fact that I got to see places that I'd only ever read about in the books before. And I kind of feel that way about this game. So here's where I can leave you, sort of after this meandering, I didn't do like a scripted version of is it worth it. I just wanted to jump in the game and talk you guys through as I kind of ran around and grabbed some quests and stuff. If you've not watched any of my previous streams, we can duck out and just show you the combat real quick, but it's not anything to write home about. I mean, it's literally going to be you shoot shit and it's action based and stuff dies. It's not complex. Let's run down here and just see what we can see. Forsworn Hunters. Da, da, da. Here's some bad guys. This is it. This is combat. It's nothing special. There we go. So really no threat to my being. It's very simple combat, and you can see like the mini map on the bottom right's got the waypoints for the things I need. So you really just run around the zone, and you'll find stuff like this where you can dive into the lore more. So the Stones of Sacrifice is a place where the Grey Wolf tribe brought their sacrifices to their god Uthgar. Sacrifices entail a blood offering of animals hunted in his name, but now the Stones of Sacrifice are stained with human blood. Any of the Forsworn caught by the rest of the Grey Wolf tribe are tortured to death, their flesh stripped from their bones. And there's all sorts of stuff in here about magic after the Spell Plague, the Protector's Enclave, Neverdeath. So all these places you go, you'll get quite a bit of lore. So if you like that kind of stuff, that's why I think this game can be entertaining if you're someone who appreciates the lore. And you just want a simple game to play. It's not complex. There's nothing in here that's going to be complex. There's an item I need to collect right there. So let's collect the item, and that's how you complete these quests. So you essentially just run around like you would in any other MMO and complete quests in this manner. And so see, it's very action combat-y. I actually love playing this game on a controller. I don't think I would like it with mouse and keyboard, so I appreciate the Xbox version a lot. But yeah, looks like there's something hidden back here. I don't have the Arcana skill or a kit to unlock it, so that would be a secret little treasure that you can come across. There's lots of little things like that on the map, so yeah. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I do think this game is worth it because it's free to play. I think that if you like Dungeons & Dragons lore, I think that you'll be able to get past some of the, bad graphics, this kind of not so great intro, if you can get past those things and just appreciate this for a game that's going to give you sort of like, reading the Forgotten Realms novels, but you get a chance to interact with that lore in a game setting, I think you'll like it. So for me, given the fact that you don't have to pay anything unless you want to, yeah, there's some annoying pop-up text, like that right there. That person had just acquired something from a lockbox. That'll pop up from time to time. Does the same thing in Star Trek Online. I'm not a huge fan of it, but that's how they try to get you to want to spend money on it. You can go VIP if you wanted to, like if you really loved this game. But there's enough here, I think, with the free-to-play version that you can get into it and see if you want to go VIP beyond that. Because I'll pay VIP happily for things like, Star Wars, The Old Republic, Lord of the Rings Online. I've even played for about 6 months, and way back in the day, Star Trek Online, I paid for about 6 months. I'm happy to support a game if I'm really going to sink my teeth into it. But when I'm doing these little, 20, 30-hour things and I'm playing through content that's 10 years old, it might have been revamped a little bit. I don't feel compelled to do it so much. But I think that this is a game you should give it a shot. Check it out. Totally worth it in my opinion here in 2023. I'm recording this as of mid-March. Actually, I think it's early March. What is the date today? Like the 8th of March today, so early March. Anyway, if you like this video and you found it useful, please do me a favor and like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Support if you can, because I do stay on the air thanks to the contributions of members, because I don't make a lot of money off of ad revenue. You can do super thanks on uploaded videos where you can program an amount of your own, or you can use the pre-programmed amounts that YouTube offers. There's also memberships, super chats, and stickers on live streams. We have a Patreon page as well if you want to get into the stuff that I'm working on as a game dev and writer. And until next time, stay safe. Happy gaming, everyone.